Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I used to cover like the last season and 90 Day Fiancé quite frequently. That was actually the season with one of the highest ratings in 90 Day history. But this season of 90 Day Fiancé, season 6 of Happily Ever After, I don't know, I just haven't really been feeling it. And it seems like when I covered it, it didn't really get many views. Many people weren't really into it. But I gotta say, I watched the tell-all. The first part of the tell-all came out on Discovery Plus this morning. I watched it and the tell-all was pretty juicy, especially Mike and Natalie, so I want to talk about that in this video. Of course, they didn't show up at the tell-all together. People were starting to think Mike wasn't even going to show up because they all got on the stage and Mike and Angela still weren't there, but Mike showed up at the very last minute. And so they started off with Mike and Natalie and they're like, it seems like every single time you guys show up, they're always fighting and always on the fence if they're gonna continue their relationship. So the host asked Natalie and Mike if they were still together. Natalie said there's no relationship. Mike said there's no relationship, but legally, by paper, since they're married, they're still technically together because he has yet to file for divorce. He explained the reason he didn't file for divorce is he was just hoping to give Natalie time to go work on her dreams, work on herself, see what life is in America, and he figured she'd come back to him after she was done doing her thing. But he said that she ended up packing her bags on Christmas Eve night after he paid for her nose surgery, and she moved in with her friend, and not long after that she moved to Miami. So Mike said he was giving Natalie her space. She hadn't contacted him, so he was giving up on the relationship because she's halfway across the country. So Natalie said she still loved and cared about Mike, but they fight a lot. She feels like he doesn't care about her emotions. He's not there for her. She explained that he's a manager where he works. He has to drive 2 hours to work, 2 hours back from work. And when the pandemic started, a lot of his workers had families and a lot of kids were homeschooled. So a lot of his workers quit. And since Mike is the manager of the company, he had to pick up all the extra work, and Natalie said by the time he came home, he was just drained and he didn't spend any time with her. And Mike was like, you know, I was just trying to work so I could make life better for Natalie and me. And Natalie said, you know, I kept asking him to move to Seattle. I hated being stuck in the woods. And Mike was like, you know, you came to the United States knowing I lived in the woods, knowing this is my home. And Natalie said she got sick and tired of living in the woods, sick and tired of the fact that Mike wouldn't move to Seattle or move to the city for her. And she said she got sick and tired of Mike not being there for her emotionally. And here's the juiciest part about Mike and Natalie from the tell-all. So the host asked Mike and Natalie, okay, so you guys been split up on a break. Have you dated or slept with anyone else, Natalie? She said no. And she asked Mike that. Mike said no. And then Jovi called out Natalie and said, who is that guy you're at dinner with in New Orleans? And so the host asked Jovi what he was talking about. And Jovi spilled the tea that Natalie wanted to meet Yara. So she came out to New Orleans, had dinner with Yara and Jovi. And she brought another man with her to have dinner with Yara and Jovi. And Natalie said he's just a friend, and Jovi's like, you know, but I don't sit there and travel around the country with just my friends and stay in the same hotel with them and not do anything with them. And so Natalie said, well, how do you know he was not gay? And so Jovi said, well, he really wasn't coming off gay to me. And so the host asked Yara and Jovi, did they seem like they were in a relationship? And Jovi said, well, they weren't like being physically intimate or anything. But Yara said she kept asking Natalie, and Natalie just does that little giggle and brushes things off like she does, like, and avoids the whole question. So they really had no idea. And so then Julia called Natalie out, and she said, you know, if you're not married to Mike, why don't you go back to your country? I feel like you just used Mike for a green card. Other people were chiming in, and Natalie said, I did not use Mike for a green card. If I was using Mike for a green card, then I would have married him and stayed with him till I got my green card, but I just wasn't happy. And so Julia called her out and said, well, if you're not going back to Ukraine, how are you staying in the United States? You have an apartment in Miami, and we see you on social media living your best life. How are you funding all this? And Mike spoke out because Natalie refused to answer the question. Mike kept saying, answer the question, Natalie, answer the question. She got all red, refused to answer the question, and Mike said, because she still has my charge card, and I'm supporting her lifestyle, and I was hoping that she would eventually come back, but now it's obvious she's hanging out with other men, going out to dinner with Yara and Jovi. She's not trying to reach out to him. So he says after the tell-all, he was going to cancel the charge card. And Natalie started bawling because, you know, she knows that she's probably going to have to go back to Ukraine because Mike also said he was going to file for a divorce first thing as soon as the tell-all was done. And the fact that she knows that he's no longer funding her lifestyle. And so Mike pointed out he feels like this is why Natalie kept leading him on, not saying she wanted a divorce or wanted to be done, kept saying that she was on a break, playing with his emotions because he was still funding her lifestyle. And as she probably told him she wanted a divorce, he probably would have canceled that credit card real quick. But it sounds like he's planning on doing that anyways. So Mike even called Natalie out and said, you know, you're a liar. You can't even tell your mom that you're no longer married to me, because her mom still thinks she's living and married happily to Mike when she hasn't lived with Mike in months. And so then they bring out Mike's mom, and so they have Mike's mom and Natalie face to face, and they said, Natalie, did Mike's mom call you a hooker? She swore up and down she did. Mike's mom said, I never called you a hooker. That's just another lie, so you can just try to come up with more reasons to leave Mike, because all you wanted to do was just use Mike to begin with. You never loved Mike. You never tried to work on your marriage. You were just trying to do what was best for you. Natalie was crying like, no, I loved your son, blah, blah, blah. And you know, Mike's mom called out Natalie and said, you're a liar. You even lied about Uncle Beau, saying Uncle Beau stole your jewelry when you turned around and pawned it. And I guess that's when Natalie moved in with Mike, and Uncle Beau ended up having to move out when he was living with Mike for a while. And I guess that was the reason Uncle Beau had to move out, because Natalie was accusing him of stealing from her. And Mike's mom said she had proof Natalie was lying, and had proof that Natalie had actually pawned the jewelry she accused Uncle Beau of stealing. So Mike's mom is like, you never loved my son. It was never true love. And Natalie said that the night that Mike actually proposed to her, he gave her phone to her to take a picture, and she wanted to delete the picture because it was a bad picture. So when she went to delete it, she went to Mike's deleted files and saw pictures of another girl's chest, and she said it was a really attractive girl, and there were multiple naked pictures and pictures of this girl's chest, and that caused Natalie to storm out the night that Mike proposed to her. But Mike said it was his ex trying to get back with him, sending those pictures, and he was like, no, we can't do this, I love Natalie. And he deleted all the pictures she sent him, and that's why Natalie found them in the deleted folder. You know, if Natalie had found them like in his photos and his phone saved, I would be upset. But the fact that he took the time to delete them, you know, he may have forgot that you actually have to go through and clear your trash can once you delete stuff for it to actually be completely cleared from your phone. But the fact that he actually deleted them and stuff, I don't understand why Natalie would be angry. And so Natalie was filming for the Single Life season 2, so we're going to be seeing her in Big Ed on the new season of the Single Life. I'm not sure when that season is going to start. So if you guys have seen the first episode of the Happily Ever After Tell-All, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know your thoughts on Mike and Natalie. And also, do you think Natalie was just wanting a green card, or do you think she really loved Mike? And while we're talking about Mike, I just gotta bring it back up. Some of you guys probably have seen this whole little video, but when I talked about Mike and this other girl he was seen in the airport with his mom, like probably a month ago, that girl was talking to Mike, and I guess they got in some fight, and she demanded money from him, or she was gonna blackmail him and expose him with the pictures and videos he sent to her. And so he didn't send her money, so she exposed him. And I've seen on plenty of 90-day Facebook groups these pictures and videos going around, and usually when pictures come across to my desk like that, I don't believe them, because it's really easy to just get a picture of someone's junk and say it's anybody. But I saw the videos, and you can hear Mike's voice saying, hey baby, you want some of my Magic Mike? And now every time I look at Mike, I just think of Magic Mike, and I think of that video. But let me know your thoughts about Mike and Natalie in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on all bell notifications, and let me know in the comments if you want me to cover other stories from this tell-all. I know Mike and Angela was pretty juicy also, and if you guys are interested, I'll make more videos. But thank you guys so much for watching.